and someone sees you in the rearview mirror coming up, maybe doing 5, 10, 15 miles an hour over the speed limit or faster than them, they will intentionally get in front of you just to fucking piss you off. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody's got an agenda out here to make sure you're not doing...
It's all about them.
Yeah.
It's all, there's no driving with anybody else. It's all individualized here. Everybody is the individual that the road was made for.
Right.
That the stoplights are for, to get through the turns and everything else. It's all individual. That's what I've noticed about Colorado. Because as you know, I just took a 2,500-mile bike ride.
Yeah.
I was sitting there 2 weeks ago, and I was sitting there thinking, I got to get out of here. I went and loaded the bike up, and I took off. And I went out to Vegas and around through Phoenix, Utah, Albuquerque, and everything else. And I get to Phoenix, and I'm riding down there. Everybody's driving in unison. And they're going 90 miles an hour, driving in unison, going in. The car's coming in off of the interstate there. Every other one, like it's supposed to be. When they're turning, the left turn goes into the left lane, right turn goes into the right lane, instead of stopping and honking and wanting to fight like they do here. But we've got people being a military town and a transit town. But now we've got everybody from everywhere that think that they're individualized, that their way of driving is the only way. Everybody else, as you've heard, Colorado drivers are the worst drivers. Well, you know, the people in Colorado combined could be the worst drivers I've ever seen.
I think so.
Colorado drivers are just as good at drivers as anybody else, and the guy from New York City is as good a driver as any New York City driver probably. The Arizona driver, too. Put them all together, not so much. Not so much.
But why is that? There's other military towns that are not nearly this bad. You know, you can go down.
I don't know. They're pretty bad. Go down to San Antonio, and you'll be in a fight in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, down in Texas, I never had a problem. In
San Antonio?
Driving. I don't know if no.
Wait till he's in basic and you go down to visit him or go see him. Get ready to graduate. All right. Then let's revisit this conversation.
Right. Yeah, because I'm more Dallas-Fort Worth type area.
That's where the Texas tornado is too.
But that's the difference. I was in California recently for a football tournament for my sons and coaching down there, and we went from California to Vegas, and the difference between those two was just crazy. I mean, we're on the coast, and like you said, they drive in unison. Mm-hmm. Like everybody, like they're driving crazy, but they don't piss each other off.
But they all know. It's like they all know the same crazy.
Right. Yeah. They're all trying to be. They're all trying to get there.
I mean, we got to a point, and we're talking. We have 4 15-passenger vans for 2 football teams, and we find out, I don't know, 30 minutes that we have a football game in 30 minutes. And the place is 30 minutes away. So it was the first time. Yeah. It was the first time that I've ever driven like that. Minus being in my Mustangs and all that stuff, you know, being stupid. But I mean, I took this 15-passenger van to the max. I mean, I was in and out of traffic. I made it there.
And you were just one of the crowd.
Yeah, and I made it there in 18 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't believe it. It was like the most beautiful thing in the world. But I don't know. It's just crazy. Colorado is just such, it's like we're like a big mutt.
I just wish people would just don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Get to where you got to go.
I have to tell myself that every day. Yeah. Every single day, because I get mad every day at somebody, and I think, really? Yeah. Is it worth getting mad over? But when you're sitting there and you get punched, then you've got to get out and at least defend your Jaguar. Well, no,
I just don't understand
the old junkie Jag.
I don't understand how people are just randomly punching you. Like, you didn't have any interaction with these people at all.
I must have without knowing it, because they were obviously mad at the way I was driving, and I can understand that because I am such a terrible driver. And I'm sitting at UNA and I-25, just the block before you can get on I-25, sitting there with my window down. And I drive with my window down because I don't like canned air that much. Yeah. And if there's any kind of a cool breeze, I'll use that instead of the air conditioner. And just because I don't like artificial canned air.
I'm with you.
And I'm sitting there and I'm just kind of got music. And, you know, I think I'm a singer, so I got my head going. And
that's probably why they punched you.
Yeah. That could have been.
I heard you sing.
Yeah, that could have been. And all of a sudden, crack right in the jaw. And I thought, holy, and it hurt. Everybody says, "Oh, but you can take a punch." Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Did you ask her why she did it?
Well, no. But I did tip her wheelchair and beat up her daughter with the Girl Scout cookies. But other than that, so no. I pulled forward about 20 foot and I put it in park, and I thought, you've got to be kidding. Well, now the white anger and the pain anger is hitting. Adrenaline. I'm hitting on all 8 cylinders. The fighter's there. I mean, the hair on the back of my neck is up, my tail's wagging, and I'm thinking, this is good. And I get out and he walks, and he's a big guy, and he's got the shirt cut off with, clear down to the side with the fat hanging out, and the, the short red hair, and he's probably about 100 pounds overweight. But it's big.
It's got to be an Irish guy.
Big boy. It definitely was one of my homeboys. He's Irish, no doubt. But he's walking up to me, and he draws his hand back like this to hit me again, and because I was getting out to argue, fight, fuss, or anything, but. And so he draws his hand back, and I thought, bad mistake. So I clip him with the left hook, and he goes down face first into the pavement. And I look at him, I thought, okay, fight's over. And I get in my car and get ready to leave. His girlfriend's screaming, I'm calling the cops. You're going to jail. Why did you do that? And I said, you're kidding, right? And she said, she tries to slap me. And I just drove off, and I thought, this has not,
that's when you got to run.
Been a good day.
No.
This is not a good day of driving.
From then on, he used his turn signal.
Right.
And watched out for the women in the wheelchair.
That's it.
Well, let's lighten it up a little bit. So we got McGregor, Mayweather.
I thought you were going to lighten it up. Yeah. This is heavy stuff, man.
It's heavy, but it's...
It's the boxing versus MMA fighter thing. Here's what gets me about it is that if you go on any social media or any website,
I've been watching it.
You can tell who all the boxers are, who all the boxing fans are, and who all the MMA fighters.
And they're crazy.
Yeah,
they're crazy.
And it gets insane. And so, what is your opinion of it? I mean,
well,
you're obviously a boxer. And that's been your background.
I'm a boxer that's been involved with MMA as well.
Right.
So I'm kind of a crossover, but definitely my roots are in boxing, my experiences in boxing and everything else. Let me just ask you, if Floyd was going to fight him in MMA, wouldn't even make a sense. No. Not a bit of sense. James Toney did it with Randy, and they're both good friends of mine. I mean, I've worked with James a lot of times, and I know Randy through Chico Corrales and all that. But it doesn't make sense.
Now, do you think
it doesn't make sense?
Well, and all of these people are doing this at the same. I mean, Randy was of age, not quite as old as Tony, but Randy was getting up there at that point. And Connor's very young. Connor's young. He's fast. He does have some boxing skill. I'm not saying he's near the boxer that Mayweather is. But he does have some boxing skills. As an MMA fighter, you have to train in multiple disciplines, and boxing happens to be one of them. And if you don't have your jab, you don't have head movement, you don't have the ability to block, cover, and parry.
Do you think his striking game is his strong point?
I think his strong point is his speed and his power. That's all I give him.
Now let's look at Floyd's record and see if he's fought anybody with speed and power.
Well, no, everybody. I mean, he's fought some of the greatest.
The greatest in the world is Floyd.
But has he fought him at 40 years old?
It doesn't matter if he's 90.
You don't think?
No.
Well,
and let me just expand on that, because this is what he's done since he was 10 years old. This is what he knows. He has went from his first amateur fight to an Olympic bronze, I believe it was, to how many national championships, to how many world championships, to how many fights against other superstars in the sport. What does this kid know? What does he only know? What is his strong point? Is boxing. He's been in with the best. He's experienced the faster fighters. He's experienced the hard punchers. And this is what everybody's saying. Well, Connor's fast. If he lands that right hand, if anybody lands that right hand, it's going to hurt.
There's a puncher's chance always.
I don't think that he's got a chance to hit him in the butt with a handful of BBs, to be honest with you. And I just
and is that because, I mean, he's had the accusations thrown at him that Mayweather's a runner, that he's too evasive.
Have you watched a lot of Floyd's fights?
Yeah, I've seen him stand and bang. I have seen him stand and bang.
He'll stand and bang, but he's got a defensive style that's hard to beat.
No,
he knows how to stand there and make you miss and step around you. Step around you's not running. Step around you's getting an angle so he can punch better.
Agreed.
Stepping around you's getting an angle where you can't hit him. I mean, it's all part of the strategy and very well schooled on his part.
I agree.
I think the difference between this fight and a normal fight like Pacquiao or whatever is going to be the attack process that McGregor's going to bring with.
I don't think he should. I don't think McGregor should chase him. I think that
this is the only thing I worry about in this fight. And I'm going to be very honest. I don't think it's even going to be a close fight. I think McGregor's going to get frustrated enough to where he's going to tackle Floyd and start elbowing him. I really do. I think it's going to end up in a disqualification because he's not going to want to get knocked out, and he's going to get hurt because Diaz hurt him a number of times. And because I'm a Conor fan, I'll be honest. But I'm a bigger Floyd fan. I've trained Floyd on the national team a number of times. He's a personal friend of mine. And his uncles, I don't know his father, but both of his uncles I've worked with many times. And I was just out at the Mayweather gym with Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, the former light heavyweight champion, who also trains guys. Nate Jones, who's one of Floyd's assistant trainers, still owes me $9. So
you can send that to,
and that's from 1996. But who cares? I mean, who remembers those things?
Inflation.
But yeah, $10, buddy. But I just don't think that Conor has a chance to beat him stand up.
I absolutely think he's got a chance.
Do you?
I absolutely
Yep.
do. I think
somebody needs to take that drink.
I think he's got, and that's what every boxing fan or every boxer ever says to any MMA guy.
But I'm an MMA fan too, though.
No, and I
like MMA as much as boxing, and that's the crazy part.
I don't necessarily think that this is a boxer versus an MMA guy type of battle, type of let's see who's got it, because we're not combining, we're not doing 1 for 1. You know what I mean? This is the boxing game, and this is Floyd's game. I know for a fact, because I know how my body has reacted over the years. I used to be a hell of a lot faster. I used to hit a hell of a lot harder, and I used to be able to take a hell of a lot more punches.
Not me. I'm still fast.
You can take one from an old lady.
No, I don't know if I could take a punch anymore.
But I know that when I get in and spar, even with my son, even when I get in and spar with Ty, I mean, I've damn near helped teach this kid everything he knows. I know his style. I know how he is.
He's a guru.
Right. And he knows how I fight too. But there used to be a time, and the weight doesn't matter because the kid's still a stick. He's light. But there used to be a time when his punches were like, I could be like, okay, and then tutor him right after. Now, if I get hit or kicked by the kid, I have to go, don't show it. Don't show it.
But you screwed up now.
Right.
You just showed it.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? So I think that this age that he's at, and I know he's still in great shape, and I know he's still fast, and he's still got it all. But I think that you lose a little something along the way.
And I don't disagree with that. But with the two fighters and the experience and what's going with this fight, he could lose 50% and still beat Chuck.
And I think that the difference is that McGregor's not going to come in like a boxer. He's not going to try to come in and be a boxer.
Yeah, his
gonna,
footwork.
Yeah.
But what's he going to do to nullify what Floyd's going to do then? If he's not coming in as a boxer, what style is going to work for him?
I think he's going to angle his angle.
Well, he knows how to cut off a cage, which is harder than cutting off a ring, obviously. So he knows how to play the cutoff game. But I think the big difference, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I would bet my money on this, and I haven't really heard anybody else say it, but this is my opinion. I think the big difference is going to be the stance. I think the way that he stands, he's going to come out in somewhat of a martial arts stance, and it's going to kind of throw Floyd off enough. Because I don't think that Floyd is bringing anybody in.
He's got him in now. He's got him in.
But does he have somebody that's coming in to box him in a martial arts stance?
Yes.
And he's
got guys that are emulating Conor like you wouldn't believe. He's a very, very smart man.
And how's he doing with that? I mean,
he's handling everything. He is. That's why I'm saying I don't care what happens, what Conor does, who he trains with, how many times he knocks people out or anything else. This is not his fight.
And I get that. I still think.
Is it going to be a full fight? That's the question. Because
it's
Mayweather,
not going the distance. I'm going to go just on the fact that it's not going to go to the distance.
No way.
Well, Mayweather, I mean, when's the last time he knocked someone out? What, like 95 or something like that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he's how many fights has he had since then?
I'm going to go out on a limb. He's going to stop Conor in the third round.
By TKO or KO?
either one.